Let me ask you a question nobody asked you in school, and answer honestly. Don't lie to yourself. If money worked the way you were taught, why are so many responsible adults still stressed, broke, and one bad month away from panic? Think about it. The people who followed the rules, got the degrees, played it safe, saved a little, worked really hard, they're not relaxed. They're not free. They're exhausted. That's not a coincidence. That's a curriculum problem. Because school didn't teach you how money works. It taught you how to behave so money doesn't cause trouble. Sit down, be polite. Don't take risks. Save what's left over. Hope everything works out. See the issue yet? Hope is not a financial strategy. So today, we're scrapping the fairy tales. We're deleting the lies. We're replacing good advice with real-world money physics. And we're starting with the truth that makes people uncomfortable. Number 1. Money does not care how hard you work. It only responds to leverage. Now, I hate to say it, but this is where the illusion shatters. You were taught, explicitly or implicitly, that effort equals reward. Work harder, try more, grind longer. That logic works for grades. It does not work for money, because money doesn't have feelings. It doesn't clap for effort. It doesn't give participation trophies. Money only moves toward things that can scale. Here's the uncomfortable comparison. A teacher can work 50 years, get raises, stay late, care deeply, and retire stressed. A YouTuber uploads one video that solves a problem and gets paid every day for 5 years. Same effort? No. Same impact? Not even close. Because one scales, the other doesn't. Money is lazy. It avoids places where it has to show up every day. It prefers systems, ownership, distribution, repetition without effort. This is leverage. Leverage means one action produces results multiple times. And leverage shows up as capital, money making money, code, software, automation, media, content, attention, people, teams, delegation. School trained you to sell time. Wealth is built by owning multipliers. If your income stops the moment you stop showing up, you are not building wealth. You are renting survival. That realization alone explains why people feel stuck. But here's the part that really messes with people. Because even when people finally earn good money, they still feel broke. Why? Because income is a liar. Number 2, income is the loudest lie in personal finance. Cash flow is the truth. I'm just going to be honest, income is the most overrated flex on earth. People worship salary numbers like they mean something. I make 6 figures. Cool. And are you calm? Are you liquid? Can you handle 6 months without panic? If not, that income is cosplay. High income without control is just expensive chaos. Here's the truth nobody brags about. Wealth isn't about how much money enters your life. It's about how much stays and how long it stays obedient. You can make $200,000 and be broke. You can make $60,000 and be stable. Why? Because money leaving faster than it enters creates stress. Regardless of income, here's the real equation nobody taught you. Income, lifestyle inflation, debt payments equals freedom or slavery. Most people increase income and immediately increase obligations. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more subscriptions, more I deserve this. So instead of buying freedom, they buy golden handcuffs. That's why raises don't feel life-changing. They just make life more expensive. Cash flow matters more than income. Margin matters more than status. Liquidity matters more than lifestyle. And once you see that, you start asking a dangerous question. Why do people who save a lot still struggle? Because saving alone is a trap. Number 3, saving money is defensive. Wealth requires offense. Let's be clear about something before anyone watching this starts getting emotional. Saving money is good, necessary, responsible, but saving money will never make you wealthy. Saving is like wearing a seatbelt. You should do it, but nobody wins a race wearing a seatbelt. Savings protect you from disaster. They do not create growth. Inflation quietly eats savings every year like termites in the walls. Your money loses purchasing power while doing nothing. So when people say, I'm playing it safe, what they really mean is, I'm standing still while the ground moves beneath me. Money must move or it decays. That's why wealthy people don't obsess over how much should I save. They obsess over where should my money live so it works while I sleep. Saving buys time, investing buys exits. And if you watch our entire series on the stealth wealth mindset and apply what I tell you, I guarantee you'll not only be a part of the top 10%, but your entire mindset on money will change forever. We've created specific videos and playlists breaking it all down. Just make sure to subscribe to the channel. But anyways, now we have to address the most misunderstood word in finance, because most people think investing means gambling, and that misunderstanding costs them decades. Number 4, investing is ownership, not guessing, not vibes, not luck. All right, time to clean this up a bit, so listen closely. Investing is not watching charts, day trading, following hype, feeling bullish. That's dopamine with spreadsheets. Real investing is ownership of productive assets. Stocks equals businesses. Real estate equals shelter. Businesses equals systems. Index funds equals economies. If it doesn't produce value, cash flow, or long-term growth. It's not investing. It's speculation. Speculation hopes. Investing plans. Speculators try to time the market. Investors position themselves inside it. This is why wealthy people think long-term. They care about durability. They care about compounding. They don't flinch at volatility. Poor people ask, will this go up? Rich people ask, will this pay me repeatedly? And once you understand ownership, you start noticing something unsettling. The people who win with money all use debt, and the people who lose fear it. Number 5, debt is not the villain. Stupidity is. Let's be real. Debt has terrible PR. School taught you debt is bad. Avoid it. That advice is incomplete and dangerous. Bad debt is bad. Good debt is leverage. Bad debt buys depreciating junk, requires your labor to repay, produces stress. Good debt buys cash-flowing assets, pays itself off, preserves your capital. A car loan for ego? Terrible. A loan that controls income-producing property? Powerful. Same tool, different brain. Debt doesn't ruin lives. Using debt to cosplay wealth does. Wealthy people use debt to control assets, beat inflation, multiply capital. Average people use debt to impress people they don't like, feel successful temporarily, lock themselves into stress. And this leads to a harsh realization. Money doesn't just respond to math, it responds to behavior. Number 6, your financial life is a mirror of your habits, not your intelligence. Pay attention to what I'm about to say, and I know this is where people get defensive, because money problems feel complex, but they're usually behavioral. Most people don't lose money because they're stupid, they lose money because they're emotional. Impulse spending, lifestyle creep, fear-based decisions, avoidance. Money exposes patterns. It doesn't create them. Wealthy people aren't magically smarter, they just delay gratification, automate discipline, remove emotion, which brings us to the most powerful force in money. Because once systems run your money, your personality stops sabotaging you. Number 7, systems beat motivation every single time. Let me give you a golden piece of advice. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are boring and unstoppable. Poor people rely on, I'll be disciplined this month. Rich people rely on, I removed the option to mess this up. Systems look like automatic investing, separate accounts, default behaviors, rules that don't require willpower. If your financial plan requires constant self-control, it will fail because you're human. Wealth isn't built by trying harder, it's built by designing smarter defaults. And once systems are in place, you stop obsessing over money because you finally understand what wealth actually buys. Number 8, wealth is freedom from forced decisions. I can't believe I have to say this, but wealth is not luxury. It's not watches. It's not cars. Wealth is the ability to walk away from bad jobs, toxic environments, panic decisions, desperation. If one paycheck controls your mood, you're not free. Wealth buys time, calm, leverage, optionality. That's the real flex. Number 9, the rich think in decades. Everyone else thinks in paychecks. Now get ready, because this is one of the quietest and deadliest differences between people who build wealth and people who stay stuck. Most people wake up thinking in 30-day survival loops. Rent, bills, credit cards, next paycheck. Their entire financial brain is trapped in, can I make it to the end of the month mode. And when you think like that, every decision becomes short-term. You spend to feel better now. You avoid investing because results aren't immediate. You choose comfort over compounding. You sacrifice tomorrow to relieve today. That mindset doesn't make you irresponsible. It makes you reactive. Wealthy people play a completely different game. They don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "What does this cost me over the next 10 years?" Same decision, different time horizon. A flashy car isn't just a monthly payment to them. It's 10 years of lost investing, lost optionality, lost leverage. A boring index fund isn't slow. It's future freedom quietly being assembled in the background. This is why rich people look patient. They're not patient. They're zoomed out. They understand something most people never internalize. Money compounds silently, but only if you give it time and stop interrupting it. Every short-term decision steals from long-term momentum. Every impulse resets the clock. That's why the wealthy obsess over consistency, time in the market, staying invested, avoiding dumb resets, because they know one brutal truth. You don't get rich from one big move. You get rich by not ruining small compounding moves over decades. Once you shift your time horizon, money starts behaving differently. And once you realize wealth isn't about intelligence or luck, you see what actually decides who wins the money game. Number 10, money rewards responsibility, not talent. Honestly, in my opinion, this is the part that bruises egos. Because everyone wants to believe money is about being smart, high IQ, advanced strategies, secret hacks. It's not. Some of the smartest people you know are terrible with money, not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack consistency. They overthink. They chase complexity. They second-guess good decisions into paralysis. Meanwhile, the people who quietly build wealth, they're not financial geniuses. They're boring, relentless, predictable. They do unsexy things. Spend less than they earn every month. Invest automatically whether markets feel good or scary. Avoid lifestyle inflation even when income jumps. Don't panic sell, panic buy, or panic do anything. They don't try to outsmart money. They outlast everyone else. Money doesn't care how clever you are. It cares how responsible you are with leverage, time, and risk. This is why get-rich-quick people burn out, and slow, disciplined people quietly pass them. Because intelligence without structure creates chaos. Responsibility without flash creates momentum. Wealth isn't built by being brilliant once. It's built by being reliable for decades. And that's the final illusion to break. Once you understand that money doesn't reward talent or luck, everything finally snaps into focus. Money follows leverage, not effort. Income lies. Cash flow tells the truth. Saving protects. Investing multiplies. Ownership beats speculation. Debt is leverage when used intelligently. Systems beat motivation. Wealth is freedom, not stuff. And here's the dangerous part. Once you understand this, you can't unsee it. If this video punched you in the face, in a good way, comment the words, "I finally get it." As a matter of fact, in the next video, I'm breaking down why the first $100,000 feels impossible and why everything changes after that number. Because that's the moment money stops resisting you. We'll see you in the next one.